Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I'm George. We're all George. Good morning. Welcome to another market open stream, although it's a little bit late. But let's talk about why Bitcoin and crypto, why they have dumped, and why this new AI is scaring investors around the world. This one release has scared the bejesus out of people, especially Wall Street. So let's talk about it, and let's talk about everything else that's going on today. All right, let's do it. Welcome, guys. Last night I put out a video. I said something China, maybe it's Japan, but no, you know what? It looks like it's coming out of China. Right now, Bitcoin is clinging on to $100,000, $100,006 or 7. Earlier this morning, it got as low as 97.7. That was a great buying opportunity. But remember, dips are gifts at this point. But Bitcoin has recovered a little bit and back above $100,000. Bitcoin is very, very resilient, holding above 100,000 once again. But if you look at the US market, it has started out the week very, very badly. And mostly, look at NASDAQ, it's because tech is selling off. Minus 3%. Okay? Minus 700 points. That's horrible. That's horrible. And why is that? Look at this. Nvidia down 12%. It's because of this new AI model from China called Deepseek. Now, you wouldn't think much of it, right? You would figure, yes, we have ChatGPT, we have Google's Gemini, we have X's Grok, we have a whole bunch of others, right? AI learning models are not new. But so far, all the ones we've been talking about is from the US. And we know that they have been pouring billions, all these companies are pouring billions, not just billions, hundreds of billions of dollars, creating these open AI models that does various things, right? And now even AI agents. But China, wanted to prove that, hey, it's not far behind. So they released this DeepSeek, which they said they only been working on it for 2 months. Unlike the Americans that have been working on this for years, they've only worked on this for 2 months. And they only spent about $6 million. That's it. And it was good. It was really good. So this demo showed that it was really good in a lot of things. It wasn't very far behind. And I think there was also something that actually outperformed even ChatGPT. So this got a lot of investors scared. Because if China is able to do this and not do it with the latest NVIDIA chips, which have now been banned from China, if they're able to do this with so little versus the Western companies that have spent so much, what does this mean, right? This is why NASDAQ and tech is selling off, specifically the AI companies. But, when Wall Street sells off, they just sell off everything. Everything's going down in the U.S. market right now. So that's what's driving the dump today, in case you're wondering. Okay. But again, Bitcoin resilient 101 coming right back up. And then you guys know that, Trump just came out with this huge thing with OpenAI, Oracle, and SoftBank, and how they're going to invest $500 billion into AI and creating AI jobs and infrastructure and all that stuff, right? But there is a little bit of FUD from Elon himself. So now there's rumors that Elon and Trump are butting heads, and supposedly Elon can't talk to Trump himself now. Like he has to go through his chief of staff or something like that. And it's mostly because of this, because Elon really hates Sam Altman of OpenAI and openly questioned this announcement and said that they don't have $500 billion. Elon was really questioning it and hated this, mostly because, again, OpenAI and his hate for Sam Altman. So that might tear up this relationship of theirs. But anyways, so that's the whole story. And we'll see how it develops later today. Maybe Wall Street realizes, okay, this is not a moment where we should be panic selling. Maybe we have overdone it and we need to buy back, especially Bitcoin, because Bitcoin really has nothing to do with what's going on here. The overall market, the crypto market, you could argue like AI projects or AI coins, right? But why would you sell off Bitcoin? No reason to be selling off Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the best asset that we have, the most secure asset that we have, the most decentralized asset we have, and the best hedge against inflation. Selling off Bitcoin as if it was a tech stock or a risk-on asset is a mistake, because what's going to end up happening is you're going to have to buy it back at a higher price later on. But right now, there's no doubt there is a big correlation between tech and Bitcoin. If you look at the white line and the purple line, NASDAQ and Bitcoin's price, you can see how at times they're very correlated. There are times where it's very not correlated, but right now it's like almost a 1-to-1 ratio, right? But again, that's Wall Street's mistake. Wall Street is, again, treating Bitcoin right now as if it's a tech stock, and it's not. And it's ridiculous to think. It's really ridiculous to think so. So, I made this point. If you look at ETFs, right? Wall Street tends to get scared, very reactionary. They tend to sell off, just like retail investors sometimes. And you could see early January, when we did have a slight dip, we had massive sell-offs from Wall Street. And guess what happened? All the days afterwards, massive inflows, including Friday, which we had a 570 million inflow. But all this was just Wall Street buying back what they sold, because they panic sold, they panic dumped everything, and then they FOMO'd back. We had $1 billion inflow day, last week. We had 800 million, and Friday was 500 million. So today, we probably will see a little bit of outflow, but again, anyone that sells right now is going to end up buying back at a higher price. That's just the bottom line. It is not one of those times where you're like, okay, I got to get out because China has invented Deepseek. This is not it. Everything I've been saying about what's coming this year, right? All the initiatives that Trump took last week did not go away. This year is going to be absolutely fantastic. And if you believe, you ignore the FUD and you continue to DCA. Kind of like Saylor. Saylor has just acquired another 10,000 Bitcoin at 1.1 billion. At a little higher price than where it is now, 105,000. So now MicroStrategy has 471,000 Bitcoin and continues to go higher and higher and higher. And here's the thing. Saylor's like, that's not enough. So he's also announcing Stark, or STRK, a new convertible stock available to institutional investors and retail investors. And what is the purpose of this? The purpose of this is to raise money and buy more Bitcoin. So, yeah, Saylor may be not doing what we can do, okay? Just issue more stock or notes or bonds to buy more Bitcoin, basically leveraging his company. But you know what? He has the right idea, and we know that. And that is to buy more Bitcoin when you can, DCA and buy more as much as you can, because we know Bitcoin is going to go much higher. And even though it does seem like today is such a bad day and we have fallen down and everything's going to hell, Bitcoin is still at 101. We were at 105 on Sunday. Yes, we're down 4,000. That's like 3 percentage point or 2 percentage point. We have not fallen 20 percentage point. We have not fallen 30%. Okay, we fell down a little bit. So not time to be panicking. And outside of Saylor, you have BlackRock now requesting that people can redeem Bitcoin from IBIT, which is huge. Because right now, the only way to win with these ETFs is to sell it off, right? And everything's settled in basically cash for the investors. But now big boys who have a ton of IBIT, they can go to BlackRock and say, you know what, I don't want to sell off. I just want to redeem Bitcoin with it. That's huge. Now, rather than BlackRock needing to have outflow days, is nothing but inflows and transferring Bitcoin to investors. I think this is huge. This is going to be a game changer. Once the ETFs allow redemption of physical Bitcoin, watch out. Watch out. That is going to be a game changer. What else? Russia, they're eyeing Bitcoin. They're eyeing increasing their mining farm, which of course makes a lot of sense, right? Especially with all the sanctions, all the geopolitical tensions, but also because they know the US is going to implement a strategic reserve soon. So this is one way to load up on Bitcoin. You got a Brazilian oil giant that is also loading up on Bitcoin, utilizing their surplus gas to mine Bitcoin. All terrific. Poland is getting in the game, overtakes El Salvador in global ATM count. Here's the thing though. I don't know anyone that actually uses Bitcoin ATMs, at least not in the US. I've seen many in the past, but I've never seen anyone or lines of people using them. But I don't know how it is in other countries. So if you guys live in Poland or El Salvador or anywhere else, and you actually see people use it, let me know, because I don't. And the reason why it's not smart to use it is because they rip you off. If you sell your Bitcoin, they give you a really low price. If you buy Bitcoin, you're buying at a much higher price than open market. So yeah, it just doesn't seem like a good deal at all. Anyways, on top of everything I just said, the reserve is going down still. So again, fundamentals have not changed. Our little dip for Bitcoin does not change at all, especially when you zoom out, because we're still on the verge of breaking out to our next level, our next high, and nothing that happened yesterday and today is going to stop that. It's a little distraction, a little blip. That's how it's always been. We have these little fuddish times, and then we move past it. That's it. All right, that's pretty much it. The only other thing I want to mention is one of my favorite DEX aggregator, Jupiter, acquires majority stake in this app called Moonshot, which is a very popular meme coin trading app. I've never used it, but some people have said they have. And how this relates is because last night I reported how Trump is now supporting this other meme coin that came out, and it is now holding around $33 million. So it seemed like it dipped down from the initial pump, Now it's holding. Can it come back? I mean, the token economics of this is way, way, way better than his own. So I think someone on his team just decided to tweet out that picture, not tweet out, post that picture on IG. I don't think he has anything to do with it. I could be wrong, but the economics of this is way better than Trump. And Trump itself is coming back a little bit from its low at $5.5 billion, in case you guys are wondering. Yep. And we're almost back to 102. Again, dips are gifts, right? And the three that I mentioned in my Sunday walking video, even though it was overshadowed by my other video, right? XRP, look at this. XRP is almost back to $3. It dropped to 260 last night or this morning, right? Almost back to $3. That's an instant 10, 15% right there. Solana coming back. Solana dropped to 220, now about 240. And yesterday it was like 250. It could get right back up there. Another one I mentioned is Sui. Look at the recovery for Sui. Dropped to 350, 349. Now it's 384, almost back to $4. It was at 420. We are recovering very, very fast. Okay, so dips are gifts. I said if you have the ability to buy, you buy. If you don't hold it. There's nothing fundamentally changed other than Wall Street really like just freaking out about Deepseek. All right, let's do some Q&A. All right. Scrolling up. This is Chinese propaganda. It probably is. They haven't released Deepseek. They just said a whole bunch of stuff. And it could be that it's so good because it basically copied from all the Western AI companies, right? So I don't know. Tim says Grok is the best right now. I do think Grok is one of the best. Although Gemini is pretty good, but Grok is better because you could actually feed it articles, where Gemini you cannot. Let's see. NMCD says Deepseek is overhyped. It works 15% of the time. Can't do photos, videos, talk about anything. Yeah, you know, again, it's probably an overreaction. Wall Street, I've said many, many times, not just Wall Street, markets around the world, but especially right now, Wall Street, they overreact. They panic. Sometimes they feel like, it feels like they're worse than retail investors. They just dump everything sometimes. And then guess what? They have to buy it back. They buy back at a higher price. That's what they do. A lot of times you look at the performance of these hedge funds year over year, and they're horrible. You could outperform hedge funds just simply by holding S&P 500 or NASDAQ, and especially by holding Bitcoin. So it makes you wonder sometimes how smart they really are. On days like today, they just sell off all tech, including NVIDIA, probably the premier AI company of the world, who produces the chips that all AI companies use. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Michael said he made 50K on Toshi over weekend. That's a lot. That's a lot. I didn't even get involved with it. So, but I did cover on Friday. I covered on Friday. It looked like it was pretty good, and it just blew up even more. But I didn't even get involved with it. But congratulations. And I know a lot of people have been talking about XCN. I even talked about that in my Sunday walk video. XCN has a whole lot of confusion because people are like, oh, this is from JP Morgan. And it's not. And I did say that whenever everyone on live stream asks about it, that's usually a top indicator. Guess what? Since, the top, everything has been coming down. Doesn't mean that it's going to go down forever. It is correcting. But usually when you see everyone in live chat ask about something, that's usually a top indicator. Bionic coin overall, it seems like it's related to a finance, related to helping companies get involved with DeFi and stuff. So that's why. And I think it has something to do with Justin Sun too. Everything coming back really strong. Chainlink is another one coming back strong. ADA, Hedera, Algorand, Injective. I mean, everything's following Bitcoin, but hey, these are all great American-based projects. Don't forget AVAX. Yeah, I got AVAX in here too. George, do you think the overwhelming flood of memes is overshadowing the altcoin bull market? MJ Matrix, you got to realize this cycle, altcoin bull market or altcoin season, is only going to come because of memes. Okay. In the past, altcoin season happened because people pulled out profit from Bitcoin and put it into alts. This time around, that's not going to happen. Wall Street is the one buying Bitcoin. They're not going to sell off Bitcoin for random alts. I think memes are the ones that retail sells off and buys alts with. So I think you got to embrace memes. Don't I guess fade them, because we are going to get more memes and bigger memes. And eventually, when the memes pop, the profits are going to go into the chains and other alts. That's how I believe altcoin season will come this cycle. CA, no, I do not. I do not. NVIDIA is still down 11%. Let's see. MicroStrategy barely down. Not down at all, basically. Wall Street realized, you know what? We may be selling off for the wrong reason. Coinbase is down a little bit. But I would not be surprised if Coinbase comes back into the green. And let's see. Robinhood is down slightly. It makes no sense. Why would he sell off Bitcoin? Bitcoin's not related to AI. Wall Street, when they panic, they just dump everything. Like, oh, let's just sell off everything. Why? Why would he sell off Bitcoin? Just like the times before when you see these outflow days. You sell $1 billion, and they nearly buy $1 billion the next day. And then another $500 million, $1 billion. all these people that have sold off, they're just go buy back. They go buy back at a higher price. Michael, just be lucky that you got and you made some money. Because thinking like that is going to make you make a mistake in the future. Because in the future, you go think, well, I should stay in longer or I should get in earlier. And then that next meme may not do as well and dump down. So just be careful. Be glad you made a lot of money. Okay. So be careful before you go into a next one. And don't think that, oh, I could have made more. I should have done this and that. Because it's going to make you make a lot of mistakes. Starlight, does China pose a threat because they sold all their seized Bitcoin and stronger than expected AI? Will they cyber attack Bitcoin if it becomes a strategic reserve? They may try, but Bitcoin is the strongest network on the planet and it's almost pointless to try. You would have to have more than 51% of the hash rate to try to do a 51% attack. But now that they sold off their seized Bitcoin, that actually makes it worse for them. And stronger than expected AI, don't know if that's reality or propaganda or what. Shouldn't we jump on altcoin narratives rather than hold a bag of good projects where the hypes? What? Shouldn't we jump on altcoin narratives rather than hold a bag of good projects that were hypes that are fading away? I think you really mistyped your sentence, but I think you're trying to say sell the good projects from before that are fading away and buy other alts. I think that's what you're asking. Sure. Thank you, Michael. $500 million is still kind of crazy for this. Is when I covered it on the 24th, which is like right here. I covered it over here, and then shortly afterwards went this and it came down. Even coming down, it's still a much higher price than when I covered it last Friday. It was like 200 million, I think. It got up to almost $1 billion, which is kind of crazy. Again, with memes, it's like, yeah, it could go up. It could go down. You don't know. Sometimes it just does well, and sometimes it doesn't. But anyone that made money with it, good for you guys. I'm just wondering if AFO is a good buy because looks like it has stabilized. XRP is coming back extremely strong. Almost back to $3. That's great. everything's coming back strong, but not as strong as XRP. XRP is just like unshakable at this point. Yeah. Yesterday, again, we have seen periods like this for Bitcoin, right? But in my video, I showed you guys how oversold everything was. I mean, Bitcoin on a 4 hour went to a point where, man, it was below 20 something. And then on a 1 hour, it dropped to a point to like 12. It's like a point where Bitcoin hasn't been that oversold forever. Like you knew a bounce was going to come, right? Why is literally every piece of news bearish? Because that's how you sell, man. That's how you get people to click. At least I try to make it more AI based. I'm sure everyone else is trying to sell the narrative that China's going to dominate AI, and this is how you get people to really click. Um, but who's to say? Maybe in the background they're just using OpenAI to power Deepseek. Like there's a lot of things behind the scenes that you just don't know. You're taking their word for it that okay, this was developed in 2 months. It cost less than 6 million, and this is the greatest thing ever using old GPUs, right? Who knows? Maybe they've been developing this for 12 months at 60 billion. They don't have to say it. It's part of the game. And maybe in the background, they're just using OpenAI to power it, and no one knows. You just don't know sometimes. But anyways, even if it's as good as it says it is, there's no reason why there should be a global sell-off right now with tech and why anyone should have sold Bitcoin. That's just ridiculous. But the good thing is, it gives us another opportunity to buy the dip. And Saylor did that. Only the rich are buying BTC dips. No. Anyone could. You can. You could buy $10 with a Bitcoin, $100 with a Bitcoin. Right? You don't have to buy whole Bitcoins. You don't have to buy 10,000 Bitcoin like Saylor at a time. You could buy fractional Bitcoin, and it adds up over time. Just look at my DCA portfolio, man. Every Wednesday, I bring in my DCA portfolio. It's up 120%. We'll look at it this week, whatever it may be at. $100 a week. That's all I did. You could downgrade it to 50 bucks a week. You could do a whatever, 100 bucks every other week. The results would pretty much be the same, just at a lower dollar amount. You could put $1,000 a week if you could afford it, or $10,000 a week if you could afford it. But DCA long term, basically you can't lose, unless you invest in something that just really does not move. But not Bitcoin though. Deepseek data is from 2023. Just asked the question that Bitcoin has been in development over 1 year, going long. Are you bullish on Aptos? I'm not bullish. I'm just like, I have nothing against it. I like others better. I certainly like Solana better. I like Sui better. I like XRP better. I like AVAX better. I like Chainlink better. There are so many others I like better than Aptos. When in doubt, zoom out. So how bad was this dump that we just had yesterday? Well, when you zoom out, it's like it wasn't that bad at all. In fact, since November, we've seen much dips. That was a lot worse. Gallo, no, I'll never change my mind about Litecoin. The reason being, it's a copycat of Bitcoin. It'll never be better than Bitcoin, no matter what. The reality is it can never be better than Bitcoin. It competes with Bitcoin, and it can never be better than Bitcoin. All right, guys. So to conclude, we got this new AI learning model, Deepseek, from China that's causing this global sell-off, right? Investors are panicking, decided to sell off all tech, including Bitcoin. But you know what? It's a mistake. That's why Bitcoin is coming back, why crypto is coming back, because it's just an overreaction once again. Fundamentally, nothing has changed. Still a lot of great things in play. So stay strong, my friends. I will see you guys tonight, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. All right? Have a good one. Take care.